Hello again. Now, many of you who've watched my videos will know that I've got a diamond fret saw. I've had this saw for many years. I think I bought it about 1988. They are remarkably good saws and they are very reliable generally. I have made 2 or 3 videos covering this saw, but 1 or 2 people have mentioned in the comments about how they can get the bouts for it, replacement bouts if they go wrong, and this could cause a problem. And so I thought I'd do this little video just to sort of talk about the bouts and what you can do to get around it, hopefully. Now, before I start, can I just say, if you don't have a diamond fret saw, there's nothing exciting going to happen in this video. I'm not going to set myself on fire or electrocute myself, hopefully. And you're welcome to watch it, but don't get too excited, because it's probably going to be a bit boring unless you've got one of these saws, in which case you might be interested. Anyway, here we go. Enough of that nonsense. Let's get on with the story. Now, the diamond fret saw was invented by a man, or should we say designed by a man called Doug Woodward. If you want more in-depth information, I welcome you to watch one of my other videos where I cover this saw in detail. And it is very, as I say, it is a very well made saw, and they don't go wrong very often. In fact, I've never had a problem with this one, but there are a couple of things that can cause problems. Now, the main problem that I can see is the bouts wearing out. This machine has a special sort of bout on it, which was easily available a few years ago, but I'm not sure you can get them now, and I'll explain that in a moment. Let me just show you the bouts on the machine. I'll just take the covers off and show you. Now, to get the cover off the machine, the easiest way is to tip the table up first. Just undo this little nut here, this little thumb screw, and tip the table so you can get to where the bouts are inside here. Now, there are 2 screws in the front here, and there are 2 on the back, down here. One thing to note is, you have got this little pump on the back. It's basically an aquarium pump, but what it does, it blows air into the blade to blow the sawdust away from the cut-in line. So you don't need to take that off. It's fitted on this cover plate and it'll come off with it. Just be careful you don't snap it off. There's a little tiny tube on there, an air blower tube. You can take that off if you like. Oh, before you do anything, make sure you pull the plug out like this. Look, I'll just take the plug out. Just make sure the plug's out, just in case. We're not doing anything with the electric, so it's not a problem, but it's always best in case you accidentally switch it on. And now I've dropped the plug and probably broken it. Never mind. Anyway, so we've taken the 2 screws at the back, and there's 2 in the front here, and I've just got 1 here to undo because I've already undone the one, so you don't have to watch me undoing screws. Right, I'll take that one off. Now, having done that, the cover should now, I should be able to move the cover off, and you'll see it, the bouts inside. There you go. I'm taking the cover off, and I'll just put that carefully down there. It'll hang on the cable, look. There's the little pump. You can probably see it better now. Now we've got the cover off, you should be able to see the bout arrangement. And as you can see, there are 2 bouts. This is the drive pulley, the motor's on the other side, and you've got 1 bout here and 1 bout here. This is the intermediate pulley. Now you'll notice these are stretchy type bouts. Now I've got one here to show you. This is an actual replacement bout as used on this machine. It's got a white spot on there, and the reason for that is it's commonly known as a white spot bout. Not to do with fret saws, but to do with washing machines, because this is exactly the same bout that was used on a hot point twin tub washing machine a few years ago. It's a spin dryer drive bout. I'm telling you this information because it might help you in getting one of these, because they're not easy to obtain, I understand, nowadays, but it is the spin dryer drive bout from a hot point washing machine. They're quite stretchy, they're fairly tight. They've also got a rough finish on them for grip. And Mr. Woodward used 2 of these on his machine. Now, the reason he's done that, I think, is because there's no adjustment, you see. You can't adjust any of this, so you need a stretchy bout. If you put a V-bout on there, you need adjustment, obviously, to tighten it up or whatever. And that causes a bit of a problem, actually, because these aren't easy to obtain now. If you can get any, if you see any anywhere, I should buy them, because you'll almost certainly need one. Now, obviously, if you can get the correct bout like this, that solves the problem. But if you can't, all is not lost. You could try and find another stretchy rubber bout about this size. I don't know where you get one. Most vacuum cleaner bouts that would do the job are too small a diameter for that. That's quite a large diameter, actually. The other alternative is to use a V-bout. The only problem with that is there's no adjustment on the machine. Down here, you'll notice on the machine the two pulleys, but there is no adjustment between the two, they're fixed. And the motor itself is fixed along there. So you've got it, if you're going to have a V-bout, which is non-stretchy, obviously there's no adjustment, so you've got to have exactly the right size, which is not going to be easy to get. If you've got two bouts, and one bout is worn out and the other one's usable, you could use the usable one on the front piece here, because obviously that's the most important, and it's got the round pulley. And then you could, if you can get a V-bout, you can use the V-bout on there. Now if you can't get one exact size, and as I say, there are various sizes of V-bout, and I've got quite a few different ones here left over, which I've tried, but you've got to get exactly the right one. What you could do, if you were desperate, and there's no other way of doing it, and you can find a bout that just fits, but it's a bit too tight or a bit too slack, what you could do, if you're mechanically minded, is take that off, and then elongate these holes slightly, so it will move one way or the other, because you've got movement in the back. I'll just show you the back where the motor is, and you'll see what I mean. Now obviously this is going to be an extreme measure, but if you want to get the saw working, you've got to put a bit of work in. Here's the motor here, and as you can see, it's got movement that's about ½ an inch that way, and you've got loads of space this way, so you could move the motor along here some distance. You could move it at least an inch that way, so it's not actually a major problem if you're mechanically minded. What you have to do is to remove this pulley here off the end of the motor, and then you can take these out and remove the motor, and then what you've got to do is to elongate these holes. If you drill several holes and then file them out, you can have an elongated hole, and that will allow you to move the motor backwards and forwards to adjust it. Now I know these are extreme measures, and people watching it thinking, what's this idiot on about, just get a new bout? But if you just can't get a bout, you know, it's better than just scrapping it. Just have a go at it. That's what I would do. Perhaps the hole where the motor shaft comes through, you may need to enlarge that slightly to accommodate it. Well, I mean, that is one way of getting it going, isn't it? Rather than scrapping the thing, because they're a damn good machine. It's just a shame to get rid of it. So basically, that's about what I want to say. If you've got one and you need a bout, and you can get a white spot bout like this, obviously that's the answer. And if you see one of these, buy it while you can. But if you can't get one, you know, do have a try at this, because what have you got to lose? These V-bouts are readily available. You can get these from these bout specialists. There's loads of them. So you just got to get the right size. You can measure it with a piece of string or something, and then take that along to the bout shop and try and match it up for it. And as I say, you may need to adjust it, because they will need adjustment, but it will get the thing going. Another option you could look at, if you can't get a white spot bout like this, have a look on eBay and look up for sewing machine bouts, because there are various people on there who do sell sewing machine bouts in a range of sizes. One in particular I found had about 20 different sizes, and some of them are around about the 20-inch circumference mark, which would possibly do for the diamond saw. The bouts were listed about 6mm in diameter, or around 1/4 inch, which, although perhaps it could be a little bit fatter, it would probably do the job and get you out of trouble, and it will certainly get the saw working. So if you can't get one of these, do look into that. It is a possibility. I mean, even your local sewing machine shop might have some, I don't know. But, you know, certainly it's worth looking on eBay for that. Now, the other option that you could consider is you can buy bouting, rubber stretch bouts, in a length, and then you cut them to size, and then butt the ends together, and then heat them up with probably a blow lamp or something, and it bonds the two ends together. Now, I wouldn't have a great deal of confidence in it, but they say they work, so it is a possibility. But I say I've never tried it myself. Anyway, there's always a way, so don't give up. You know, if you can't find a bout, there's got to be some way you can get the saw going again anyway. And hopefully this little video might give you some pointers. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now. Goodbye.